Hello, wrestling fans. It is IC Fall. On this edition of a wonderful show, I have Raine Cruz with me. Raine, how are you doing today?
Hi, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. And now, if people are not familiar with your backstory, let's share why I'm talking to you in the first place. You won an amazing contest. SummerSlam WWE announcer contest. You won. That means you got to go to SummerSlam as a guest ring announcer. Now tell me how that experience got going. You saw the contest, so obviously you jumped on in.
Yeah. So I remember waking up one morning and my friend had sent me a text telling me that WWE has this announcer contest on TikTok. And my first reaction was, well, I don't have a TikTok account. I didn't even know how to use TikTok. And I was like, well, I guess if I want to go to SummerSlam, I have to download TikTok and create an account and do all the stuff that they wanted us to do. And at that time, because I just started my ring announcer role in the independent wrestling scene last year. And so I was like, well, I don't know if I'm ready to do this kind of event, but I don't know what they're looking for. So might as well try. And,
Right.
If I don't get picked, it's fine. It's content for my social media. So I just did the videos that they asked us to do, which is basically a duet with like John Cena, The Undertaker, Sasha Banks, like making their, way to the ring. And it's in a 2 box. And then in the other box, it's you announcing them. The other box, it's them coming out to the ring.
Outstanding. Now, when you did this, you said you had a little bit of experience doing some ring announcing previous to that. So you took your experience, obviously you brought it to the table for this situation. Now, millions of people probably submitted. What made you think the reason they picked you?
Experience-wise, SummerSlam was actually my 11th event. I started ring announcing by accident last year, around March.
How do you do something like that by accident?
Yeah, so basically I started working in the independent wrestling scene last year, and my second event, my husband and I drove to an event in Yuma, Arizona, which was 4 hours away from where we lived. And I got there and I asked the promoter an hour before the show started. I asked him, okay, so who am I going to interview after the show? Because that was my role before, backstage interviewer, or after, a match, I interview whoever won the match. And the promoter tells me, oh, we canceled that spot. And I was like, well, we drove 4 hours to get here. Is there anything else I can do? And he said, well, we don't have a ring announcer. And I said, well, if you don't mind, I'd love to try it out. If I don't do well, please let me know. I'm not going to do it again. And next thing I know, he would always book me as a ring announcer. And leading up to SummerSlam, I probably have done 10 events. Some I was doing the backstage interview stuff, and the other ones I was ring announcing. So I wasn't sure how well I would do at SummerSlam, like thinking in my head, okay, if I actually win this, can I actually handle it?
Right.
Because, I just started last year and I wasn't sure if, my experience was enough, or, I'm, comfortable at that level already. So
of course. Have you received any extra notoriety, any extra gigs from that, just doing that? Because obviously someone sees you on TV like that, and there are plenty of local organizations who are running wrestling events on Saturdays and Sundays and Friday nights in local towns that need somebody like you. You seem very upbeat, happy. So, and you're on WWE TV for a second, so suddenly people are like, oh, let's lob on to her. Has that happened to you?
Yeah, to be honest with you, prior to SummerSlam, I was just basically bouncing between 2 promotions because I only knew 2 promoters. And every time they had a spot for me, they'll tell me, hey, Raine, if you can make it to this event, we'd love to use you as a ring announcer or a backstage interviewer. And after SummerSlam, I had other promoters reach out to me, hey, are you willing to travel? Or, because I live in California, they'd ask me, hey, are you, okay to do the show in Los Angeles? I've had other promoters reach out to me because they saw me at SummerSlam.
That's amazing. Now, obviously, you're on TV for a hot second. Did anyone ever say, hey, can I have your autograph?
I was surprised that someone actually had asked for my autograph. Because I was like, oh, I just won a contest, but you know what? Sure. Thank
That's
you.
outstanding. That's outstanding. And I see in the background you got some WWE memorabilia. What is that? A No Way Out chair?
Yes, No Way Out, and that's my very first pay-per-view.
What
Back
event?
in
What year?
2007. I'm sorry, no, 2008. 2008.
Okay.
Mhm. And the other one back there is SummerSlam, 2009.
Yep.
And the one that I'm sitting on right now is from SummerSlam last year.
That's amazing. That is
Yeah,
amazing.
So the No Way Out chair, you know, I had told myself, because I was born and raised in the Philippines, and I told myself that once I moved to the States, I would go to my first wrestling event and sit ringside. Now in my head, I would sit like legit ringside. Of course, I was 10 rows away from ringside. So I had to step on that chair so I could see the show. But you know, that was a great souvenir for my very first WWE event here in the States.
That's amazing. What a great story. Because yeah, you got to think that people around the world, you brought up the Philippines, people from around the world are inspired by the WWE to be more than themselves. You want to be a ring announcer. Some people want to be wrestlers, referees, managers. I interview professional wrestlers. Like there is I don't know, like a love that grows. So where did it start for you? Like, how did you get into wrestling? I always ask this question to everybody. Was it channel surfing, a family member, a friend?
Channel surfing was a part of it. So prior to my big move to the US, I was taking Taekwondo lessons, and I sprained my ankle. And so I was just at home, you know, just flipping through the channels, and I saw John Cena, and it was a rerun of Monday Night Raw. And I was like, well, this is interesting. And the next thing I know, I would watch every single rerun that they would have every day. And at that time, I thought it was real. And then my grandpa broke the news to me that, hey, it's not real. But for some reason, to me, I actually found it more interesting that it wasn't real. Because to me, it looked so real to me that now that it's not real, to me, it's like, oh my God, that's amazing as to how this program is making me feel. You know, it made me feel like angry at the heels, and I felt for the baby faces. So I thought it was such a cool experience, you know, to know that, okay, this isn't real, but somehow the emotions that I feel about it are still real. And also at that time, I was, you know, I knew how to speak English because back in the Philippines, it was part of our curriculum in schools to learn English. But I wanted to kind of get myself used to listening to English and how, you know, kind of observe what Americans did. So I was like, you know what, let me watch this thing and kind of see what the culture is in America. And then, you know, when I moved here, I continued watching wrestling, and somehow it made me feel at home because it reminded me of when I would, you know, be in the Philippines watching wrestling with my grandparents.
Wow. If you don't notice, I'm welting up a little bit. I got some waterworks happening here. That's a great story because, you know, I think people who don't watch wrestling have this perception of it, and they'll never, ever, ever break that perception. Like you brought it up, it's fake. Okay, well, then I always bring to people, okay, well, that show you like about dragons flying around, do you think that's real? Do you enjoy it? Do you find it fun? And they always go, oh, yes, of course, of course. Okay, well, that's the same thing with wrestling fans. We like wrestling. Do we know it's people pretending to be someone they're not? Of course. But at the same time, when a wrestler picks up another wrestler, maybe I'm picking up a 500-pound man, there's no strings attached to this man. It's not like a stunt. He is literally, or she's literally picking up that person and slamming them down. And it's not like they're landing on a pillow. They're landing on a different surface. It's not hard as a rock. So it's interesting to hear that sometimes people will like meh, wrestling, meh. But you're talking
Yeah.
about having a bond with your grandfather, and I had the same experience. I'm older, obviously, so I would go to a Blockbuster Video, and I'd rent VHS tapes, and that's how I got into wrestling. I didn't have YouTube. I didn't have the app on Peacock. I had to literally go to stores and hunt down for these artifacts. So it is great to hear that you have such a rich story already. Now, so what do you got going on now? Like, you're obviously being booked, I would think.
Yeah. So for the most part, I've been booked lately as a ring announcer. And last month, I actually tried something different. And I tried doing commentary for F and Warriors Wrestling, which is part of Knox Pro Entertainment, which is owned by Rikishi. So that to me, I actually like doing it because to me, again, it was something I didn't think I could do. Because when I first thought of getting into the business, I wanted to be a wrestling manager, and I still do. That's still my goal down the line, to be a heel wrestling manager. Although I smile a lot.
You might have to have that smile or something, or just be an ass with that smile,
yeah.
you know?
But yeah, so to me, it's like to me, I just wanted to be a part of the show. And so when I went to my first promoter, he's like, all right, I can't make you a manager yet, but I have a spot for, a backstage interviewer, and then, ring announcer. And now, I got offered to try out commentary. And then, I actually liked it. And it's another avenue for me to do and to show my love of professional wrestling. So yeah, so aside from ring announcing, now I do commentary and, still the backstage interview stuff.
Outstanding. Now, when you won that contest for SummerSlam, what was your experience? Obviously, you showed up to the arena early, and they obviously you must go through a rehearsal of some sort, not just letting you cold going out there and saying these things. Were you backstage? Did you get to meet people? Like, what was the day like from start to end?
They flew us out Friday night. So I didn't find out that I had won the contest till Wednesday night.
Okay.
If I remember correctly. Yeah, Wednesday night. And then Friday night, they flew us out to Vegas. We got picked up by a car service and
fancy.
Yeah. And I got taken to the hotel. They paid for our flights. They paid for the car service. They picked us up the next day to take us to Allegiant Stadium. We had to be at the stadium by 8:45 in the morning. So it was a full day. Yeah. And I remember telling my husband, I was like, well, I don't know if they're going to provide like hair and makeup and all that, but I just want to look presentable. And then so at like 7:00 in the morning, I was just getting my makeup done. And I remember telling the makeup artist, the event is not till 4:00. So please make sure this is not going to go back. And that's like at 7:00 in the morning. Yeah. So we got there at 8:45 in the morning. We had breakfast, and I was told that I can't take pictures backstage, which is fine. I totally understand that. And I got to meet a lot of people. Got to meet Drew McIntyre, Street Profits, AJ Styles. AJ Styles and my husband had some, nice conversations, which I got jealous about because I was like, you don't even watch wrestling, and now you're hanging out with AJ Styles.
Okay. He's talking about hair products. I don't know.
Actually, you're right.
Bing.
Yeah, they were talking about Just for Men. He made a joke to my husband about, hey, do you think this looks like Just for Men or something like that? Oh. Who else? Oh, I met Beth Phoenix and Molly Holly.
Now, why did they tell you can't take pictures? Was there any clarification of why?
I think mostly because they're trying to protect the whole behind the scenes look of backstage, like probably trying to protect the whole kayfabe thing.
Of course.
Even though in the world of social media now, it's kind of like hard to hide that.
Right.
But we weren't allowed to take pictures backstage, so I didn't get a chance to have pictures with any of the superstars that I met. Which is, to me, part of me was like, okay, I think it worked out because it helped me to stay focused on what I needed to do. Because in my head, if I was allowed to take pictures, my mindset would be, okay, I'll be like the fan who won the contest, and then I'm going to take pictures backstage. And then next thing you know, I get put in the middle of the ring and I don't know what to do, so I
Right.
felt like that helped me to kind of just like, be professional and then just focus on what you need to do, which is, to, be the guest ring announcer at SummerSlam.
Of course. I think it's the picture thing. I can understand a little bit because obviously they don't want you to be, fanning out like, oh my God, it's Drew McIntyre. Oh my God, it's Street Profits. Oh my God, it's AJ Styles. You'd be concentrating on doing that the whole time. I would, in my brain, to be like, all right, group photo, one picture, boom. All right, we're done. As but whatever. I don't work there. Interesting that you were there so damn early. That's
Yeah,
so
like,
you said you did your makeup. Did they actually eventually sit you down and were like, hey, we'll do your makeup for you too?
they did actually. They're like, hey, you want to like sit down, with one of our makeup artists so we can like, do so many like touch-ups and all that. And I was like, yes, please, yes. Because like, because at that time it was like what, like 3 o'clock, and I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna look like on TV, but
They'd be like, oh, hey, babe, it's up 7 episodes 6.
So so they did offer that. So they treated me really well. I honestly felt really welcomed, and my husband felt the same way. And the catering was good, breakfast and lunch, they're different menus, and it was just, it felt like it wasn't our first time there, like because the way like people kind of like welcomed us and said hi to us, and it was just a nice feeling, and I think it helped me a lot to just feel comfortable. And like what Triple H told me, he's just like, you know what, just have fun, like don't be nervous, just have fun, and enjoy the moment. And I did really do that. I just had fun and enjoyed the moment.
That's good, because I would describe, I've been backstage a few times. The first time I felt like Charlie in the Chocolate Factory. Like I just felt like I won the prize, and somehow I'm seeing like, it felt like it was the Muppet Show. I was like, I'm like, there's a bunch of coats there, all fancy coats. There's Natalio's coat and John Morrison's coat. I'm like, oh my God, Bobby Lashley just walked by with a cup of coffee. I'm like, what is happening? It's a surreal moment. Obviously, it must have been surreal for you as well, because you won a contest out of, I'm guessing, millions of people. And
and the thing is, I didn't think I would win, to be honest with you, because on TikTok you can see how many people have submitted videos and all that. And again, I just started ring announcing last year. I wasn't that confident about it. And I've seen people who posted videos, and I honestly think they did really well. And my videos were basically kind of like in the bottom, like you have to keep scrolling to find my videos. And because I also just started my TikTok account, I only have 60 followers, mostly my friends and my family. So to me, it was like, I don't know if I'll ever have a shot at this, but if I don't try, I wouldn't know.
True. That is a very good point. And I just, did anyone ever actually say to you, this is the reason we picked you, here it is?
No one actually said anything to me like that. I actually thought they were going to pick 2 winners. And then so when I got there, I asked them, so where's the other winner? And then they said, there's no other winner, it's just you. And I was like, what? And then like, are you like more nervous now? And I said, no, I'm beyond grateful, because to me, again, like you mentioned, there's probably, a lot of people who have sent out videos to join the contest. And out of all those videos, somehow they managed to find my video, and they thought, you know what? She can probably do it in the ring.
Yes. I think that's one of the things that some people don't really think about, is sometimes it's luck, sometimes it's fate, sometimes a little bit of both. And maybe a little bit of both was on your side that day. And I'm not saying you're not talented, because I've seen your videos and you are talented. But at the same time, there probably were people with TikTok accounts who had a lot of followers who were helping gain them more traction. And you're saying you opened one just to enter this contest. It's got to be a pretty good feeling.
Yeah. And I honestly could not believe, when I found out that I had won. I remember just finding out that I won. I read the message, and my first reaction was just to cry. I was literally on the floor crying. My husband was like, "What is wrong?" And I couldn't say anything but show him my phone. And he's like, "Oh my God." Because he told me, he's like, the chances of you getting this is basically like winning a lottery.
Right.
And I was like, you know what? If there is a chance, why not try? So yeah, it was, I mean, honestly, until now, I still can't believe it happened to me.
Well, congratulations on winning something a year ago. Maybe this time around they'll have another contest, or and have you heard anything back from them? Did they ever say like, hey, we really like your work, we want to like to talk to you, maybe anything like that?
No, I haven't heard anything back from them. I know they had that contest for WrestleMania about like some backstage interviewer thing, TikTok. I didn't even try for that one because I felt like, they probably want like somebody else to like win it.
Right.
And I also want somebody else to kind of like experience that too, because I honestly thought it was such an amazing experience. They also let me rehearse before the event, which I think really helped me to kind of just like be more comfortable, to kind of just like feel how it is to be in the ring first time. And then, okay, I know where my spot is supposed to be. Okay, cool. And then, all right, next time you're going to do this is like when there's people here. Okay, cool. At least I know where to go.
A lot of people. Did you use the old method of everyone's naked to get through your fears?
You know what's funny is that I wasn't nervous. No, I wasn't nervous until after I did it. I was mostly just excited. I think what was going on through my head at that time is that I came from the indie scene. I just started last year, literally from like 20 people to 50 people. Probably 50 was like the max for me prior to SummerSlam, and from 20 to 50 people. And then, getting to SummerSlam, a part of the reason as to why I joined a contest was to challenge myself. Is this what I really wanted to do? Can I really do this? Because if not, I need to know right now. That was kind of like what was going on in my head. Like it was mostly a challenge for myself. I've always wanted to be in a WWE ring, but can I really get the job done? So I remember stepping in a ring and just mostly just excited that, oh my God, like I get to do this. I get to do this thing, this opportunity. And, I did it. And then after everything's done, somehow I just like got all nervous because to me, okay, I did it. I don't know how it looks. I need to know right now because there's no turning back. A lot of people saw me, but I need to see how I looked, how I sounded. And there's no turning back from that point.
Yeah, you're probably immediately on your phone watching Peacock, being like, "Oh, I gotta see if I sounded good." And you're holding it to your ear, and inside of an arena with like 80,000 people trying to figure out, listening to it, does it sound good or not sound good? That's a great story. Again, I think your story is, I think, one that people wish for, as in they've loved the WWE or AEW or Impact Wrestling or whatever. Wrestling in general, and then they hope and wish that something like this can happen. And for you, it did happen, which is, outstanding for you, because that's something clearly you are passionate about, you love, and it happened for you. So, kudos to you. And obviously, you must have other outside projects going right now. You do have a YouTube channel, right? Ringside Raine, and you on there sometimes talk about wrestling, correct?
Yes. Yeah. So I have my YouTube channel, like you said, Ringside Raine, and I started posting my videos as Asuka's heel manager. And that's how this thing all started. I wanted to be Asuka's manager so bad, but I wanted to be a heel manager. And then from there, I figured, okay, let me do some wrestling reviews, mostly to kind of like, practice the way I talked. And to me, I didn't really care how many people watched it. I thought that, to me, it was a good avenue to practice my skills, practice the way I talk. I presented myself on camera. So it didn't really matter to me if someone watched my content. It was mostly,
But watch your content, people. Subscribe to her right now.
Yes, please watch my content.
Yeah, she does. She does care. She does care.
I do appreciate the comments though, because I didn't think people would watch my my manager promos, and somehow some people did, and I appreciated the comments that they had posted, because it's legit like the complete opposite of like
who you are.
Yeah, I think that's why I really love that character, and then my goal is to one day make it to somewhere and be a manager. A personal ring announcer / manager for someone, and be mean.
Well, folks, she wants to be mean. She seems very happy, but she wants to be mean. Well, people have had Umaga had Armando Estrada. He used to do intros. Escúcheme todos, listen to me. Ha ha ha. I could do the whole thing if I wanted to. I might.
That's awesome.
I might. My name is Armando Alejandro Estrada. I'll keep going. Let me introduce to you the Samoan bulldozer. Umaga. Dun, dun, dun. I loved Umaga. Rest in peace, Umaga. What a great wrestler. What a great character. But so you could take over. You can be the heel manager who's also announcing people to the ring.
Yeah.
I think people would like that.
I'd love to do that. And that's what I love about professional wrestling, is that, you can't just be in one box. You can keep evolving, keep, improving your character, transition your character into something else. It's like an open-ended book, and the more you learn, the more you can improve your character. And that's just basically kind of like how life is,
It's true.
Now we're going deep now.
You learn. Hey, I talk to people all the time. Somehow they start opening up to me. So this is. I have the face of someone who wants to listen. Continue. What were you saying? How deep do you want to get?
Like wrestling is just like real life. I mean, they say it's fake, but it is like real life.
Well, sometimes in real life, you have to pretend to be someone you don't want to be to impress others. It happens sometimes, and it happens all the time, actually. But, Raine Cruz, thank you so much for being here, talking about your experience, winning that SummerSlam contest, and sharing your backstory, and, of course, sharing your YouTube channel that everyone needs to subscribe to right now, Ringside Raine, Raine.
Yes,
folks.
Thank you.
Yes, of course. Thanks for being here. And, folks, thanks for watching the show. We'll see you next time. I've been Seafall. She is Raine Cruz. Have a wonderful day. Bye.